Hi, my name is Denny Hoshka. For 50 years, I was a professional portrait photographer based out of Kearney, Nebraska. I am an Army veteran, 1970-71 Vietnam, and I'm creating a DennysBuzz, a patriotic YouTube channel dedicated to helping Vietnam veterans and those that love those veterans create a meaningful family history and have a little fun doing it. Kind of like a bee buzzing here. Get it? Denny's Buzz. I did say I had all my screws there. Bye bye.
Nebraska Patriotism 2023. This is an introduction. Patriotism is alive and well in central Nebraska in 2023. In this video, I'm going to walk us through a few patriotic events that I've recently attended, highlighting the patriotism in the small towns and rural areas of central Nebraska. The first is David City. In a 2023 Veterans Day program, I wanted to thank my friends from David City, especially Larry Sabata, for his service to veterans by being commander in David City VFW for 35 years. The night before, their 80-year-old flag bearer had fallen and was out of commission. Upon arrival, Larry asked me to be the substitute flag bearer. Not a big deal, right? I found that in Butler County, the Color Guard and a small patriotic group went to 12 rural and small town cemeteries showing respect for the fallen veterans. Some of the cemeteries had a little formal ceremony with people attending, but in some of the ceremonies, only the combined American Legion VFW Color Guards from David City conducted a very dignified presentation, and they were the only attendees. The last stop was a Catholic Mass and potluck at Appleton Church. That night, tired and driving back to Kearney, I was happy and proud that my Butler County brothers and sisters who showed such great respect and honored those who had served were now at rest too. Grand Island patriotism is next up. On a walk in Grand Island, I went around the United Grand Island American Legion VFW Club building. There was a big tent on the parking lot close to the road. When the tent was removed, a beautiful patriotic painted Freedom Rock created by Ray Bubba Sorensen with a sign saying 2nd in Nebraska, 100 in Iowa, and a 50-state worldwide tour. What wonderful patriotic art. Combining the American Legion and VFW clubs into one building makes sense to me. I see all across rural Nebraska clubs closing, and you can have two different organizations share the same building and all serve veterans. It made sense to me. State Fair. In the past, state fairs have had patriotic production and freedom flight displays that were wonderful. These individual stories and huge displays are first class, and it almost made my knees weak when I first saw them. In a Veterans Day salute at the State Fair, the Grand Island ELKS 604 presented the chronological evolution of our American flag, and it was just a wonderful display where they marched each of the flags up on display and told about it. The Nebraska State Veteran Cemetery is the fourth one is going to be located in Grand Island. There was a huge presence of Grand Island people at the unicameral, and I'm 100% behind this cemetery being in Grand Island. Way to go, Grand Island. Great patriotism. Fort Kearney Labor Day celebration. There was a special sunset cannon firing at Fort Kearney this year. For 26 years, there was Civil War living history reenactment tents and activities at Fort Kearney. This year, they camped in 98-degree heat. On Sunday, a special cannon firing at sunset was conducted for a lost member. Before the firing, the explanation about losing a son, husband, and brother was very touching. Wow. And it was a really cool ceremony. Another reenactor at Fort Kearney was an Undertaker, Terry Henriksen. He was there, and he had like a display of tent, and it had paraphernalia of Civil War undertakers, coffins, and equipment, and he explained the importance of undertakers in war. His father had created the collection, and the son was carrying on his father's interest. It was really cool, and it made me think a lot. One of the topics shared by Terry concerned the importance of dog tags. The government didn't issue dog tags to soldiers during the Civil War, so they carry these paper IDs. He passed out some. They were so soldiers could be unidentified. They were terrified to be lost in battle and nobody knowing who they were. Some things have never changed. The National POWMIA National Day is the third Friday in September, which we can celebrate those who have fallen and did not get a good final resting place. My father's veterans flag was in the State Fair parade, and I was proud to walk with it. All of my brothers and my father served, and of course, since I'm making this show, I won the Best Looking Award. Last year, 4 of us that hadn't seen each other in 50 years, since serving at Fort Lewis, we took our basic and AIT training, and then we all went to Vietnam, and we got together for the first time, and it was like we hadn't even been separated. We told the same jokes, we laughed, we shared, we had a bond. It was really a cool experience. And at the very end, we went to pay our bill, and they said after 2 hours we sat in this cafe, they said somebody anonymously had paid our bill. So that was kind of a cool thing. I'd recommend if you have a group to get together and share some memories. At the end of our meal, we put our fists together as a sign of solidarity. But we ended up with 5 fists. There's 4 people. And it kind of looks like my sweater was in 2 of them. My model and my wife, Pat, has been with me for 50 years, and now we're heading out for a bus trip, 11-day bus trip together. Bye-bye. So long. In the book, The 5 Regrets of the Dying, Bronie Ware talked about the most talked over things of people in hospice. I wish I had spent more time with my family. I wish I had lived my life more by my rules. I wish I had expressed my feelings. I wish I had spent time with my friends, and I wished I was happy. I'll put a link in the description. She interweaved her life story, and she had a hard life, and it took a toll on her. She even contemplated suicide, had it all planned out, was ready to do it when the phone rang, and it was a telemarketer selling ambulance insurance, and it saved her life. She didn't do it and went on to have a nice life. So that just gives us all hope.